When they say she get it from her mama say you can write body rude is one polite. Tell me in the home.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you do not know me, my name is Kalia Imani White and I am so grateful to have you all here with me today. So today we're going to be discussing how to discern whether or not a desire is from God. I feel that one of the most common questions that believers ask is this coming from God or is this coming from me? And this confusion usually comes from the fact that we are taught that having desires is selfish or every desire must be God ordained, which neither one of those are true. So today I want to teach you guys how to discern biblically and practically. And I don't like the way that this angle is. It's just so... Okay, there we go. So today I want to teach you guys how to discern biblically and practically and how to decipher whether or not a desire is from God, if it's from your fear or if it's from your flesh. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, let's establish this clearly. God is not against desire. Of course, we all know Psalm 37:4, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Now that verse doesn't mean that God grants random wishes. Which actually, that's so ironic that I say that because I just recall my dad, who is an atheist or Muslim or whatever he chooses to be like for the week. He said, I told him to pray about something and he's like, oh, that's not the way life works. You think that he's just a wish granting factory? So it just reminded me of that. But God does not just grant random wishes. But what it means is that as you walk with God, your desires begin to reflect him. So during this time when my dad made that comment of, oh, you think that he's just a wish granting factory? To me, my answer was yes, because any and everything that I had asked God for, I had gotten. But that is because I have been on this journey with him since birth, honestly. So everything that I wanted out of life are things that he would have wanted for me. So the question isn't, do I have desires? The question is, where are they coming from? And I just want to pivot really quickly just because I'm going off my script here, but this just came to my mind where there are so many people within my family that are deeply unhappy with their realization with where they are in life. And it is because what they desire does not reflect God. They desire to be admired by many, to look as if they are well accomplished, to have enough money to pay for women in cars and music videos, rap music videos, and more drugs, and to have enough finances to basically go through life and live a life of sin. Even though we all live a life of sin. However, their life is devoutly devoted to sin. And they will never be happy because that is not a fulfilling life. That's not a God-fulfilling life. So their desires do not reflect God. So their desires will not be answered. And if they are answered, you still are going to be unhappy. So let's jump into where do these desires come from? There are three sources of desire. There are God-ordained desires, which these desires require growth. They demand discipline. They involve a lot of responsibility. And they do not contradict Scripture. They usually feel weighty, not impulsive. It's never something that you feel like, oh, I have to do this now. It's more so something that's like gnawing at you every single day. Like, I should really do that. I've been thinking about it for a while. I should really do that. Again, James 1:17. Wow. Again, James 1:17. I did it again. Teen. Why do I keep saying teen? What is that about? James 1:17. Every good and perfect gift is from above. The second place that desires can be from, they can be from the flesh. So flesh-driven desires, they want comfort without effort. They avoid accountability, they seek status or validation, and they prioritize pleasure over purpose. Keep in mind what I just told you about my family, my cousins, what their desires are. Their desires reflect exactly what desires of the flesh do to you. They want status. They want comfort without taking any responsibility. That is just who they are. Which there is a warning about this in scripture in Galatians 5, which warns us that not every desire leads to life. If a desire excuses laziness, compromise, or dishonesty, that desire is not from God. Okay, and then number 3, desires can be from fear. Fear-based desires sound like, I don't want to fall behind. Well, everyone else is doing this. I'm scared of being alone. I need security at all costs. Fear tends to disguise itself as wisdom, but God does not lead through fear. As we all know in Timothy, God has not given us the spirit of fear. And this is something, personally, I struggle with, or I have struggled with in the past, the spirit of fear. That's one of my weaknesses right there. In the past, I have made impulsive decisions based off of fear. I don't really have the fear of everyone else is doing this, but I do have the fear of I don't want to fall behind. And I need security at all costs. So I will literally uproot my life. I've had the tendency of uprooting my life out of fear because I'm like, I need to move on to the next thing. I need to jump. When really, every time when I look back, if I had have just stayed, if I had have just been patient, if I had have waited and I put my trust in God, I would not have gotten myself into some pretty bad situations. And I also have a friend, or an old friend, because we no longer speak, who had the fear-based desire of I need security at all costs. However, hers came in the form of finances, where she was willing to sell any and everything, including herself, for money. So here's some questions to ask before you act. Okay. I have learned and I'm calming down and learning to trust and let go and let God. So here are some questions that you should ask before you act impulsively from desires that are not from God. So when a desire comes up, pause and ask, does this desire align with God's work? Again, God will never contradict himself. Does this require obedience or just emotion? Godly desires involve action, discipline, and consistency. They're never simply emotion-based. Will this produce good fruit long-term? Not instant results, lasting fruits. Does this glorify God or does it glorify me? God-centered desires expand your character tremendously. And the last question you should be asking yourself is, am I willing to wait for this? Impatience is often the clear sign that a desire is not ready yet. And that pivots me into timing. Yes, a desire can be from God, but still be mistimed. So this is something that I tell people all the time when they're like, what's for you will not pass you. I personally do not believe in that philosophy. I believe that if you are not ready, even though it is for you, it will pass you and it will go on to the next person who is ready. And this is something that we see God do often. He will often delay fulfillment in order to develop maturity. And I feel the need to say this just because I feel that people will still go into well, it's delayed, not denied. However, you have to think that to God, this is not only what life is. There is more to life than simply this. So if you don't get your desire this lifetime because you're not ready, he may give it to you some other time, but it won't be this time. So be ready. Because honestly, if he gave you everything immediately, it could damage you. I know that we all know someone who gets everything that they want and they're a disaster. So in most cases like this, delay is not denial. It is preparation. However, you do need to be prepped in that time that God has delayed something for you and he's giving you that opportunity to mature, to grow. You better be maturing. You better be growing, because if the opportunity comes back around, it can and will miss you. So prepare yourself when he gives you the opportunity to prepare yourself so that you're ready for whatever he's willing to serve to you. And if you're unsure about a desire, pray over it consistently. Write it down, compare it to scripture, watch your motives. What are you doing this for? Who are you doing this for? Is this feeding your ego or is this feeding God? And ask yourself, who am I becoming while you're waiting? Again, God is not offended by discernment. He welcomes it. As scripture says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and he will direct your paths. So in closing, not every desire needs to be rejected and not every desire needs to be acted on immediately. Godly discernment requires patience, humility, and obedience. When a desire is from God, it will survive the waiting period, and it will grow deeper with prayer, and it will require you to become more disciplined, not less. If this video helped you, make sure to comment down below, I choose discernment, and tell me what you're looking forward to this year as far as decision making, what prayer you're waiting for God to answer for you. If this video helped you, comment down below, I choose discernment. And if you want more faith-based practical teaching for women walking in alignment with God, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.
I put that on my mama, on my